Mom, at this point in time, Sickles had gone all the way in front to the peach orchard, which you can see the gap in the trees. The red barns along the roadway up there is where he's going to go to. He's allowed to angle back across the wheat field, where you see that segue to it right now in the corner, the kind of the intersection right there, the segue to the wheat field. And then the left flank is over here resting at Devil's Den. We have that dropping rocks, but there's nobody beyond their den at this point in time. Meanwhile, Longstreet's Confederates, we're in the woods beyond the White Barn. Just beyond those woods is the restroom we stopped at a short while ago. And again, he had 14,000 men for about a 2 mile long battlefront going along this way, waiting for the command to attack. Nobody was here for the battle began. George Meade would send one of his officers down this hill by the name of G.K. Warren. Perhaps you saw his statue on the rock to our right coming over here. Warren was one of the chief engineers of the Union Army. He was a very reliable officer, so that's why Meade sent him down here. When Warren gets here, all he'd find on the top of this hill would be 5 men from the Union Signal Corps who were waving their flags. That's it. They didn't have any guns, they had flags. They used this hill as a signal station, but nobody else was here. So Warren began to get worried now. He'll send one of his own guys scampering down to the round top of Devil's Den, and the officer down there will give the command of one of Dan Sickles' cannoneers to fire a test shot over the White Barn into the woods to see what was out there. Keep in mind, at this point in time, Confederates hidden by the trees, you couldn't see them from here, so Warren wanted to know who was out there. As that shell went flying through the air, the Confederates turned to watch it, and Warren claimed that the sun reflected off their bayonets and rifle barrels as they turned, and that revealed their position. So that's how he sees it now. Warren kind of was dramatic from time to time, so most likely he just saw movement, like a ripple, you know, in a stream. If you drop a pail down, I don't know how the woods is now. So he knows now the woods are full of Confederates. If something was not done soon, the South could sweep around, capture the hill, get behind Sickles, and the battle could very well be lost. But thankfully, by nature, G.K. Warren was very decisive, so he didn't hesitate or wait for a command or worry about what George Meade might think, and just reacted. And he eventually found a brigade of Union soldiers commanded by Colonel Strong Vincent, who will volunteer to come down here. So Vincent marches his guys behind Little Round Top. They'll set up a line of defense here to our left, where you see this pine tree standing up by itself to our left side. And about 10 minutes after the North arrives over there, the South comes crashing down from Big Round Top and attacks them. It's a very close call here. Within a matter of minutes, the entire hillside erupted in gunfire. The battle would rage on for well over an hour. Initially, little progress was made for the South because it was a steep hill, and they had also, I mean, these guys walked 28 miles already. But as time goes by, Texas would kind of wrap around the Union right flank and sort of push the North towards the top of the hill and retreat. Just as Texas neared the summit of Little Round Top, about to win, from behind us where we parked our bus, arrived in the nick of time the 140th New York Infantry. About 520 primarily Irishmen from Rochester come spilling over this hill. Their commander, Patty O'Rourke, at the head of the column. O'Rourke would lead a famous charge atop the hill and then down the hill into the charging Texans. And after a brief but intense combat that cost O'Rourke his life, New York shoves Texas back down the hill. Texas tries one last time, fails, and New York basically saves the day on this hill the second day. Had the South gotten here earlier, had they gotten here in greater force, they probably could have taken the hill, but things that go on the day two basically in favor of the Union. Timing, luck, capable officers at the right place at the right time would help basically win the battle here for the Union on day two. O'Rourke was an Irish immigrant. He had just graduated first in his class at West Point in 1861, the same class that Custer graduated last in. And you know, nobody tells his story because he was killed on the slope of Little Round Top. Joshua Chamberlain for the 20th Maine would lead his famous bayonet charge down the other part of the hill, not because they were low on ammunition, but because Chamberlain heard a loud sound of gunfire on this side of the hill, which he believed was the South overrunning the hill. In reality, it was O'Rourke's arrival firing downhill to the south that he heard, and in reaction to that, Chamberlain did the famous bayonet charge on the backside of the hill that would basically put the finishing touch on the battle that had already been determined on this side. So usually, you know, obviously the survivors write the story. Chamberlain went on to live till 1914. Kind of became a self-proclaimed hero of the battle as well. All right, anybody have any questions while we're here? Little Round Top.